Back on the Newsfeed PM, thanks for staying on. As Youth Month concludes, addressing the harsh realities facing young South Africans remains critical. With rising unemployment, gender-based violence and digital exclusion, experts say the country must invest in more than just technical skills. A groundbreaking initiative by Higher Health is doing just that, equipping young people with vital skills and workplace readiness through a Skills4Life program. Joining us to tell us more about this transformative effort is the CEO of Higher Health, Professor Ramneek Ahluwalia. Prof, good to have you once again, and thank you very much for coming on Newsfeed this afternoon. As I mentioned, yes, it's a rep of Youth Month, but the work of dealing with the challenges, complex challenges, must I add, of the youth today remains, and their future becomes more and more uncertain as these challenges become more and more complex. Why do you believe a civic and soft skills program is what is needed right now for a solution?
So thank you, Thabo, and good afternoon to everyone. Thabo, with rising unemployment, a country grappling with issues of gender-based violence, 1 in 4 young students in South Africa suffering with mental health, and youth very highly risked to mental health challenges. And now studies are showing 85% of every job success comes from soft skills, which means the skills like emotional intelligence, empathy, how do you deal with conflict management, time management, goal setting, critical decision making, presentation skills, confidence, resilience. When a young person goes to an employer and applies for a job, all the employer's mindset is, okay, skills, if he or she joins my organization, I will groom him or her. All the person is looking for is an attitude of the individual. So I think there is a skill mismatch. We emphasize a lot about hard skills and technical skills, but we're forgetting that we first need to build a human. And I think the research of 85% of job success comes from soft skills is a reality picture that it's time for us to invest into soft skills. And that's why Higher Health came up with a first African qualification on soft skills. It's an accredited NQF level 5. It builds a human first and prepares a human for the next generation. I think that's where one has to emphasize the civic skills and soft skills together.
When it comes to attitudinal work, for example, when we are dealing with the question of drinking and driving, right? You'll hear the experts say, well, it's very difficult to change the attitudes of drivers on the road towards the consumption of alcohol. Why do you believe a qualification would make dealing with attitudes a little bit more, possible?
Similarly, they say, rather than always teaching fishery, first build a fisherman. I think the building a human is critical. In attitude comes from building a human. So soft skills, the Higher Health Civic Education and Soft Skills Qualification, which is accredited with QCTU NQF Level 5, is the only one where South African government is saying any young learner who has an equivalent of NQF Level 1, which is grade 9, is eligible to join Higher Health Civic Education and Soft Skills. Whereas your exit outcome is equivalent to as high as higher certificate, which is above matric, which is NQF level 5. Now, the change has been is predominantly soft skills were always emphasized in business schools and universities for a top management level, for people aspiring to be CEOs or head of the departments or growing. But nobody's emphasizing and seeing the reality that soft skills, when groomed much earlier, at the ages of high school students, at the ages of technical and vocational learning, job preparation, first years coming in, what we started seeing the impact is it starts showing results, your mark starts improving, it starts touching throughput, your throughput indicators start improving, employability opportunities increases, which is creating your own employment. And thirdly, the most important is job success, which means employers are happy with the human or the product that you're coming. So I think in all angles, this type of civic education, soft skills qualification starts building a future that's aligned to the job market. And I think that's where the skill mismatch needs to be fixed by not just a hard skill, build a plumber, build a miner, build an engineer. The aim is to also build a human, build soft skills along with it. Even though the person does not pursue engineering, the person will have enough adequate skills to build a career by himself or herself. And not to forget, 30% of jobs in South Africa comes from social entrepreneurship. And such are the skills that build social entrepreneurships.
But Prof, what then do you say to young people who've disengaged with the process? One, they don't trust any program, especially one coming from politicians. We've had Narisek, I'm sure you know about it. We've had EPWP programs. We've had the presidential youth employment program. They're saying all these programs that you are putting us into, they don't really result in us getting any meaningful employment. And so we're just going to disengage with these processes. How do you get them to engage with this particular program?
So first of all, I'm going to talk about some impact data. Over the last, we started this in January. Since February, about 7,500 learners joined the program. 6,215 learners are walking out with their qualification right now, which means the data is not too far away from right now. From 3 months, we're going to longitudinally follow these young people, those who have got the skills qualification on soft skills, how they are doing in life. Have they got jobs? Are they more tend to get jobs comparative to those who do not have soft skills? Do they get to improve their marks so your throughput starts improving? So I think these are real-time indicators that one can follow. The other thing is it's one program which is now UNESCO endorsed. South Africa actually became Africa's leading country, as well as globally. There's nothing bigger that everybody's emphasized into a qualification on soft skills or thought that deep as South Africa is. So the question is, somebody from globally is trying to now give our youth global citizenship and saying, you are going to become global citizens, form a trend where the world can follow into. The whole world is collapsing in terms of civic education and in terms of human development and soft skills. So I think my appeal to young people is you need to keep on investing into education. This is another qualification that's come in. It's a soft skills qualification. It builds you civic education. It's shown parameters that job success comes from it. Investing into it, trying to get more certificates on your CVs, making your CVs look far better is the solution going forward. And I think everybody now has to look into micro-credentials, getting more and more knowledge into their lives so that they can contribute as a competitive, in this very highly competitive world, when the market is looking or the jobs are looking for you.
Yeah, micro-credentials, is that going to be the next buzzword? I mean, it's the first time that I've encountered it, micro-credentials. Digital literacy seems to be a thing that young people are really looking at. AI, they seem to be, that's the only thing that excites them. Does this program incorporate that?
So this is the first ever African qualification which is end-to-end completely digital. Even though it was built for a grade 9 onwards, we can't build digital literacy by teaching you in a non-digital format. So if you want to be digital savvy South Africans, one has to do a full course completely digital, which means the civic and education soft skills is a completely online digital program. You register online, all these modules open, you finish your course online, you can write your exams online, you write your assessments online, you get your automated certification online, you write your final QCT or FISA exams online, and you get your full qualification online. So end to end. However, South Africa has digital poverty. So if you are in Bizana, if you are in Ulundi, you are in Zwalicha, Kailicha, there we have established called computer labs. So TVET colleges, universities, schools, the computer labs come to Higher Health over the weekends. Young people come into those computer labs, sit over the weekend, start learning it. However, you have to solve this digitally. So that one of the other way of building digital literacy, why this program was introduced, was learning ethics of AI, learning digital literacy was kept predominant by building civic education soft skills, but on a completely digital platform. So I think that's the beauty of it, but taking care of the digitally poor in the same time.
Yeah. Now, you've already looked at the numbers there. You're saying at least now 5,000 young people have already graduated. You are aspiring to reach some 250,000 more. What would be the spin-off, considering that when we're actually talking youth unemployment, we're talking in the millions?
Absolutely. So I think we've seen 82% throughput. We've seen 91% pass rate. So if we say our pass rates on soft skills is about 60%. So you have to score above 60%. What we found is building a curriculum or a qualification which is interactive, a very decolonized system, which is not your traditional way, run your books. This is interactive curriculum. Learn something and teach 10 others and learn by doing. And with that practical scenario, assessments are very real life situations, which is you practically, for example, in gender based violence, one will be exposed to see a small video of an intimate partner violence, create it. And the aim is to check how do you feel? What will you do in such a situation if you see? The practical reality of sensitizing you. Should you have not encountered GBV or will you encounter in the future? Or you are going through GBV, you understand what this means to a human life. So I think building such career involves humans, and humans love interactive learning, which means the humans enjoy such a journey. So if you can make curriculums, you can make soft skills learning, civic education learning, interactive, friendly, and people enjoying it, you can dream bigger. And I think we have now started dreaming after seeing such throughput results and such results from our people, right in rural zones, in peri-urban areas, that we can increase it. And I think that's the next step. Let's take it to hundreds and thousands of young people. Now let's take it to NEET, not in education and training. First 900 learners of NEET are joining higher health now. We want to see how does it impact not only the vocational students or technical students or universities, but let's see not in education and training. And if that starts coming up, if people one enjoy and accumulate knowledge and start becoming social entrepreneurials or building more skills that can help them with job market or employability or job success, there's nothing bigger what we want to achieve.
Prof, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for coming on. That's Professor Ramneek Ahluwalia, CEO of Higher Health, there on their latest program, Intervention to Bring Civic and Soft Skills to Young People to help with their attitudes and particularly emotional intelligence, critical thinking when it comes to a space of employment.